good. Just getting off dad duty. Had to put the little one to bed, and sometimes they be tripping before bed, but not tripping as much as these Oklahoma City Thunder and Boston Celtics. Damn, did they blow it? My boy said something before. He says sometimes when higher seeded teams kind of cakewalk through the first round of the playoffs, that second round, that semifinals round, throws them off. It throws them off because the level of competition leaps so significantly. And so sometimes it works to your benefit, sometimes to have more of a challenge in that first round because it gets you on that edge, it gets you on that edge of competition, of that level of alertness, sense of urgency. Uh, but yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. What's going on, Joe B? What's going on, man? You know, something that I was watching uh, in that Celtics game that I would say definitely uh, not surprised me, not surprised me, because sometimes it does take teams a moment to acclimate to the sense of urgency. But when you watch the playoffs, you have to understand, especially after the first round, everybody is good. Everybody is good. Now, I'm going to get to some other things when it comes to the Pistons, but let me just say this. Everybody is good. Everybody can hoop. Everybody can shoot it. Everybody can score it. Everybody can do their thing. Usually they play defense too, which means that the things that separate teams are the little things. It's how you apply your talent to the little things, the boxing out, the getting back on defense, the transitioning, not assuming you're going to get the fast break layup, especially when there's defense and you're there for the follow up, or you're there for a kick out, or you're there to turn a one on one into a two on one, right? These little seemingly insignificant moments throughout the course of a game that play out to make a difference by the time that you're closing a game. And so what I saw in that Boston Celtics game was there was no sense of urgency with those Boston Celtics. You didn't see the sense of urgency kicking until that fourth quarter, if I'm honest with you. You didn't see Drew Holiday flying in from the weak side trying to get a defensive rebound. You didn't see Derek White flying in to get defensive or offensive rebounds. You didn't see, I'm going to be honest, I didn't see Tatum flying around at all on defense. I didn't see um, Jalen Brown playing his normal, absolutely locked down um, defense on the perimeter. Like I'm thinking of the Jalen Brown who was Eastern Conference Playoffs MVP and uh, Eastern Conference Finals MVP, NBA Finals MVP, who was ripping Luca in the backcourt at half court multiple times. The guy who was a lockdown defender. I didn't see that guy in Game One against the Knicks. I didn't see Jason Tatum. I saw countless times. There was at least 3 solid times where the ball was getting swung around. I would see Tatum close out the first time, and then they would swing it, and it was almost like there's a moment of, like, an instinctual either you're gonna close out, even if you're late, you're gonna contest because you know how important it is to contest, or you're not. Or you're gonna hold back and just hope the guy misses, and OG Anunoby knocked it down all 3 times. And it was one of those things I was like, "Oh, these guys ain't ready. Boston is not ready." Um, there were a few things that I'm watching that I hope Pistons fans are watching also because it helps you to understand what it means to construct a championship roster, what it means to construct a roster of guys who are going to do these things, can do these things, and instinctually know to do these things. Right? Sometimes we get caught up in our primary guys. Sometimes we get caught up in the guys who are going to be scoring. Many times you have to understand your best scorer is going to struggle to score, especially when you get past that first round, which the Pistons are going to be looking at in the future. Getting past the second round should be matter of factly, matter of factly. So all that's to say is that there's a lot to extract from the first games of this second round. Um, and let me get to some of these comments because I like to be interactive here. Yeah, another stream drop. I love watching the playoffs because I like watching pretty basketball. Facts. It's good basketball. Um, yeah, you can talk about the other teams as much as you want. I see why Missoula is always talking about how temporary being a coach is and how he could die at any time because he's one bad shooting series from the Celtics from getting fired. I'm gonna be honest. I was a little disappointed with Joe Missoula in this first game. See, the thing is, there's an aspect of their offense that he's mentioned before uh, that their 3-point shooting is about them being able to get paint touches. And in the first half, they did an excellent job. Yeah, he's big into the analytics, but a little bit too far. I would say way too far. They shot way too many threes. But wasn't just that they shot too many threes. It was the types of threes that they shot, particularly in the third quarter and the beginning of the fourth. Um, and they completely forgot that they needed to get paint touches. They needed to get downhill. They needed to get rim pressure that allowed the defense to get sucked in, especially with the length that the New York Knicks have. You began to see that they not so much, and I would say this was a terrible game from Jason Tatum. Absolutely horrible game. Absolutely horrible game from the Boston Celtics and from Jason Tatum in particular. And the reason why I say this is because Tatum is who he is. He's paid what he's paid to be able to do some very specific things. Yes, the playmaking. Yes, the defense and the rebounding because he's playing the power forward position. So you've got to rebound, which he struggled to do. He was not able to secure rebounds for his team to get them back the possession of the ball. But more than that, he wasn't even able to break down the guys he was supposed to be able to break down. He couldn't break down Jalen Brunson for some reason. Now I know you can say that there's help defenders and guys who are shading. I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't about the help. He literally was not able to get past Jalen Brunson, but it wasn't that he wasn't able to, it's that he wasn't even pressing the issue. He wasn't pressing the issue. Countless times I would see Jason Tatum attack Jalen Brunson, and then Brunson would give him a bump, and then he would do like a little spin, and then do a little step back, and then he would just back it out. And then he would do it again and again. And I'm just like, this guy, I don't know if he understands what this moment is, but the reason why I separate him from Jalen Brown is because even though Jalen Brown's shot wasn't falling to an extent, he still understood if I get to the rim, I have a higher efficiency chance to score and I have a chance to get to the free throw line. So when it came to him being matched up against Karl Anthony Towns or Jalen Brunson, he feasted. The guys he was supposed to be able to take advantage of, he could. He did. That's why I don't give him the same grade. I feel like Jalen Brown isn't long for the Celtics. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. They don't want to pay that money to him. And he's a little bit too justice oriented for, a Boston type crowd. If I'm honest, I think he's trying to do a Black Wall Street and stuff like that. I don't know if Boston really rocks with that. Um, adjust this real quick. But these are things for Detroit Pistons fans to really think about. The players that are on your roster, what can they do for you in terms of your system? What can they do for you in terms of your culture and how you're trying to play in order to win in the playoffs? This is why I keep telling people, I'm like, look, Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley, what they did in the playoffs in this first round was exactly what they've always done in the playoffs. It's exactly what they've always done. It's not to say they're not talented. They're in the NBA. They're talented. They had a great season for all intents and purposes. Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley had a great season for us. And you also have to remember that the Dallas Mavericks went to the NBA Finals. Tim Hardaway Jr. was not even a part of their active rotation throughout almost the entire playoff run. That's telling. That's telling about the type of player you need as you progress into the playoffs. You need a shooting guard. You need a wing player like a Josh Hart who's going to get you double digit rebounds and 4 or 5 second chance shots simply because of his hustle and his athleticism, how he applies his talent to all these other parts of the game. His defensive versatility, his ability to play make and facilitate, take pressure off of Jalen Brunson, right? Who's dealing with the Drew Holiday on him, right? This versatility that even your utility guys, even your fifth option, fifth scoring option, needs to be able to bring you. Yeah, I like Christian Brown too. He balled out. Tatum is overrated. Sorry, I made him look like a punk last time they played. Yeah, no, Tatum, it's his mindset. I think it's his mindset. But these are things that you're going to have to really think about when you're quantifying or qualifying what type of player you have and what type of player you want to bring in. I've been playing for Denver's downfall so we can try to sweep in and steal Brown. I think you already have a Christian Brown. I think the Pistons already have a Christian Brown by the name of Ron Holland and Asar Thompson. Both of them can do what Christian Brown is doing. Both of them. But you also see the level of competition. Julian Phillips came in off the bench and gave him great minutes. Great minutes. Not just good minutes, great minutes. The guys we bring in off the bench have to be able to contribute to winning far beyond just shooting the ball. Because if you haven't noticed already, everybody's shooting percentages goes down, especially from three. You know why? Because they're scheming to take away the three ball and they're giving 2 to 3 times the effort to make sure you don't get open looks. And the talent you're going up against is that much better in the playoffs. So it's not a 6'2" guy closing out on Malik Beasley. It's 6'8" Mikal Bridges, who has a 7'2" wingspan. He's giving maximum effort to close out on your 3-point shot. It's OG Anunoby with a 7'3" wingspan at 6'7", 240 pounds, who's closing out and containing the drive. You're going to have guys who have more talent, who have more ability, who have more that they can go to in their bag to be able to create opportunities for themselves and their teammates, which means that you not only have to have the ability to shoot, to force the closeout, you have to have the ability to put the ball on the floor and get to the cup. Then you also have to have the ability to play, make, and pass in case you get cut off or forcing the defense to collapse again and then making the correct play, right? These are the different layers of what it means to be a talented player. It's not always about athleticism, it's about skill, it's about basketball IQ, it's about the culture. And when I say culture, it's the mindset of the player, how they play the game, how they play the game. These are things that we have to be thinking about when we look into free agency. When we look and see that Michael Porter Jr. was not on the floor down the stretch for the Denver Nuggets. That's telling. This is information you need to be calculating when you start saying, hey, we need to trade for a Michael Porter Jr. He'd be great on this team. Is he great for a regular season or is he great for the playoffs? Is he great for the regular season to hit a lot of shots and we can win games, but in the playoffs they get picked on? Ethan Kinman, what's good, man? No Ivy knows to still had realistic chance to beat a decent Knicks team. Facts. Let's not forget Kate Asar during Holland and Stu were playing in their first playoff series experience matters. Yes, it does. Which is something else we also have to think about because if traditionally Tim Hardaway Jr. is not a part of most playoff active rotations, and Malik Beasley is usually best served not being a major contributor or somebody you have to depend upon in the playoffs, if that's his most effective role, being that third, fourth guy you bring in off the bench, not the first guy you bring in off the bench. He's not a six man for the playoffs, right? There's this levels to this. Russell Westbrook is the sixth man for the Denver Nuggets, former MVP, right? I tell you what, the Knicks playing us first got them ready. Facts. Facts it did. Facts it did. Because the Knicks are riled up and acting like they got to jump guys for the basketball. Now, Josh Hart was on their ass. I don't know if y'all noticed. Josh Hart was on their ass. He was fouling, pushing, bumping, everything he was doing to us. That was frustrating the hell out of us. They was doing all, and they did it from jump. They did it from jump. Boston got a little comfortable at the end of the half, up 15. And the next thing you know, yeah, yeah. Next thing you know, they stole one. They stole one. But there was no sense of urgency from Boston. And this is something that we have to really consider is who we're bringing in, which is why I said I want to see Ron Holland at the two coming in the next season. I want to see Marcus Sasser dominate this summer in every facet of his workouts and games. And then I want him to come into training camp and demand that six-man role. I want him to come into training camp, say, I don't care who you got here. I don't care who is on this roster. I am the best player for this team to come in as a six man. I think he can be a Peyton Pritchard for us. In fact, he could be a better version of Peyton Pritchard because I think he has more of a bag. Yeah, feeling Sass might be on his way out. If he can't dominate, if he can't go into summer league and look absolutely monstrous, playing alongside Ron Holland and Bobby Clintman and Tolu Smith and maybe Asar Thompson working on that three ball. And all right, if he can't come in and look, I mean, he's got to sell it to him. He's got to sell it to him because I told y'all this was the last year of development. Everything from this point on is about winning. So if Marcus Sasser isn't that guy, they're going to bring someone else in. Right? At this point, I doubt they'll give him that summer league assignment. I think they will. I think they will. I can see Holland replacing Asar as a starter, not next year, but the year after that. I don't know. I don't know. I think what Asar does cannot be replicated. What Asar Thompson does is enigma. It's one of a kind. It's unicornish. We see what Amen Thompson is doing. I keep telling y'all, Asar Thompson. You want to know what Asar can do? Look no further than Amen Thompson. Ron Holland is a scorer, and he's got a great motor, plays physical and all that. Um, but I don't see him taking Asar's spot. I think if it's a big if he takes anybody's spot in the starting lineup, it's probably going to be Ivy. But Ivy's more talented than Ron Holland. He just is. He's a better shooter, more athletic, um, better handle. We've already invested more into him, and he'll be locked up more than likely getting a contract extension. Hopefully, it's for the right price. And I see him holding down that spot as the number two alongside Cade. Asar needs to prove majorly offensive, and no, there's no reason he got pulled. Yeah, at the end, yeah, Asar tackles ahead of the offense correctly. His jump will surprise people. I mean, it's not going to surprise me for sure, for sure. It's not going to surprise me. Asar Thompson, I I see the work ethic. I see his talent. I see it coming. He's going to beast out. He's going to be who he is. He's going to shock some people. Um, but it's not going to shock me at all, at all. Now, I also want to get into this Oklahoma City Thunder game. Do y'all see the level of competition that's being played in the second round? Like, I really, sometimes I'll be one. I be wondering when folks be like making these recommendations. Oh, we need this guy, we need that guy. And I'm like, man, how does that guy that you're recommending for the Pistons match up against those teams? Oklahoma City Thunder are gonna be there for a long time. That core of Chet, J Dub, uh, what's his name, SGA. That core is gonna be there for a long time, bro. For a long time. So when I think about this roster, and I think about the other teams that the Detroit Pistons are going to be going up against next year, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Orlando Magics, um, the Indiana Pacers, going up against the New York Knicks, going up against the Boston Celtics. You know, that's who you should be thinking about. We are preparing for. That's who we should be talking about. But let me get to some of these other comments. Yeah, because the Knicks were in hell trying to deal with the SAR offensively the last 2 games. I'm gonna be honest, I keep telling you guys, Jalen Brunson is a good player. He's not him. He's not that. He can make timely shots. He's not scared of the moment. He's a winner. He knows how to play winning basketball. But the reality is he is limited as an offensive threat athletically, physically, but he has a great jump shot, great handle, great basketball IQ, great feel and sense for the game. Leadership, intangibles, all those things, but he's at his best when he's getting everyone else involved. He's at his best when he gets Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby rolling. When he's doing that, they look great. They look great. Yeah, I appreciate y'all being in here. I got 6 people in the chat. Smash the like button for me. I really appreciate it. It helps out the channel. It really does. And definitely throw your comments into the chat. I try to read them when I can, if I can. If you really want me to read your chat comment, send me a super chat, and then we'll pivot on your comment. All that's to say is, when I'm thinking about this roster, when I'm thinking about the guys that you're adding, potentially even trading away, like if we're trading away a Simone Fontecchio, I'm not really worried about that. We're not worried about that, right? We're trading away a Tim Hardaway Jr. Not worried about that. We can replace that with Jaden Ivey's production and leadership, right? But when we start talking about trading away a Tobias Harris, I go, wait. This guy's been in the playoffs how many years? Has how much experience? He was probably our second most important player throughout the first round of the playoffs. His presence out there gave us a chance every night. Things he did unconsciously. Let's get here. Let's do this. Get the ball here. Get a quality shot there. Tobias Harris was integral to this team. He cannot be easily replaced. I love Smith Jr. as well. I do. I really do. But I would be hesitant to trade away Tobias Harris for him. I really would. I really would. I'm curious, what is the player this offseason that you believe the Detroit Pistons should target the most? I'm curious. Um, Amen plays with a lot of finesse and speed to complement his power, but Asar's bags and his ability to play with strength, and slow down. Evan Mobley couldn't stop him last time. You saw that too. I saw that too. I saw that too. He was beasting Evan Mobley. He was putting him under the rim, and going up right over the top. Amen Thompson has it. I'm telling y'all, like these twins have been playing against each other, with each other. You know, I mean, it's obvious to say their whole lives, but you have to understand how competitive they are. These two, I mean, I grew up with a older sister who was a year older than me. Um, she was extremely tall early. Right? She was like 5'9", 5'10" in like the 5th grade. Um, and I was super short. I was like 4'10". I had a late growth spurt, right? I'm like 6 feet now, but it was like you can imagine your older sis who plays sports, plays all the same sports that you do. It's almost like that Cheryl Miller, Reggie Miller type of thing. Like, we competed. She was big, she was tall, athletic, lean, she could run up and down, um, and we fought. We fought. I mean, we went hard. She used to foul the shit out of me. She used to scratch me all the time, blocking my shot. I had to learn how to shoot high arcing shots to get it up over her, which helped me out as I progressed into my basketball career throughout my life. But having that sibling who fosters that competitiveness, right? When you understand what that does to your acceleration of your development, um, it separates you, right? Some of the best competitors, Michael Jordan, talks about having his older brother, like, competing against him growing up. His older brother was a few years older, but was extremely athletic, physical, strong, right? Whooping Jordan's ass growing up in basketball, forcing him to get better, forcing him to push himself every single day. Coach didn't have to push him. He already had that inside of him from the competition at home. The Thompson twins are the same way. They compete nonstop. They compete at everything. They love each other to death, but they also compete to the death for everything. I'm sure they've been in plenty of fights. They probably had to be separated, right? Parents got to sit them down. Hey, you're brothers. You guys got to be. You know what I mean? Like, they love each other, and they also go at each other's neck. They compete. They compete. Asar Thompson is going to take leaps next season. And when I say leaps, I mean leaps next season. Please factor that in when you think about who we're bringing in or bringing back next season. We saw point Asar Thompson for stretches, right? We saw Asar Thompson in the post. We saw a little pull up jump shot. We saw him getting downhill in transition or even straight line drives off of a kick out, moving off ball, right? We saw him uh, looking like he has a better jump shot, knocking down threes in the corner. We saw Sar uh, be able to be the roll man, doing some pick and roll, right? The things that we saw from Asar Thompson are so diverse across a range of talents and skills and abilities. You have to factor that in when you start thinking about who we're bringing in to complement these guys, which is why I keep telling y'all the talent's already on the team. The talent is already on the team. Bobby Clinton, go back and look at his summer league. Isn't that exactly what you want on this roster? The big question is, how good can he be defensively? That's the real question. Because you know who I also like a lot. Excuse me. And I talk about it all the time. Jabari Walker from the Portland Trailblazers. I like him a lot. Yo, I posted on X. Yo, what's good, man? I posted on X a highlight video of Jabari Walker from this past season, only a few months ago. 6'9", great motor, about 245 pounds, extremely agile, plays defense, great effort running up and down the court, knocks down threes with regularity, can finish inside. He's not the elite springy athlete, but he's the elite footwork athlete. He's the guy who moves his feet extremely well, so he's going to be able to guard some wings, some forwards, some centers. He's tough. He's tough. He's tough. He's tough. I want to keep saying that because that is Detroit basketball. Is playing with that toughness. Detroit basketball is playing with that physicality. Detroit basketball plays defense in our sleep. Think Isaiah Stewart. That is Detroit basketball. Everybody that you're thinking about, that we're thinking about, that the organization should be thinking about bringing back, who's a free agent, should remind us of Isaiah Stewart. Yeah, have skill, be able to knock down threes. But you know what? Between Cade, Ivy, Tobias Harris, Jalen Duren, I like Bobby Klintman, Marcus Sasser, Ron Holland. you're gonna have a lot of guys who are gonna do offensive things. Who's the dirty work guys? Because we saw throughout this season, Asar Thompson comes out the game, all of a sudden nobody's doing dirty work. Ron Holland was doing dirty work a little bit, but he was still learning. He had a learning curve. He can only play so many positions on the floor, and I'd rather have him on the perimeter than playing on the interior. Can Bobby Clinton do that dirty work? Isaiah Stewart, hopefully, and I need to look up. Somebody let me know if there's been an injury a report for Isaiah Stewart on that knee, on that troublesome knee that kept him out the rest of the playoffs. Um, and let me know in the comments section if you find anything out. Um, because outside of Isaiah Stewart, as soon as he left, all of a sudden we lacked. We lacked. And you know what's normal in this second round? You know what's really normal? Tough, physical, defensive-minded guys who also have offensive skill. It's hard to bring all that together because sometimes when we think tough, defensive-minded, we think not skilled. We think Charles Oakley, right? We don't think Anthony Mason, right? We think, bruisers. We think guys like um, Ben Wallace, right? We don't think necessarily Rasheed Wallace, right? To win in the playoffs, you need that physicality and defense and skill. Who are the guys that we're going to bring in? Who are the guys that we're looking at in the draft? From this point forward, remember, it's about winning. It is no longer about development. It's no longer about let's see if this guy can become. It's not what this is about anymore. Ron Holland, Bobby Clinton, you guys are at the fringes. Marcus Sasser, you're at the fringes. You have to pick it up this summer. You got to kick down some doors. You got to go mess with the best trainers. You got to go to Rico Hines and sharpen yourself. You got to go into that summer league, demolish the competition, and then go into training camp and claim a spot for yourself. Because if you don't, you will find yourself packaged and sent out for a veteran. Because you know who this team could use big time? Guy like Marcus Smart. It's just a reality. That's just a reality. Was good? 10 people in this chat. Appreciate y'all being here. 11 people in the chat. Appreciate y'all being here. I definitely try to get to the chat comments because this is an interactive live feed that I do. Um, definitely smash the like button for me. I appreciate it. Let's go. What's up, Zeps? I should have known. Let's go, Knickerbockers. You know what? I give him props. Josh Hart did his thing in that third quarter. OG Anunoby really brought them back almost single-handedly, knocking down threes, taking advantage of Jason Tatum being real lackadaisical, no sense of urgency. Um, they just came roaring back and just punched Boston in the mouth, and Boston never quite recovered. Um, and New York stole one. They stole one. Now, I know it didn't help that Kristaps Porzingis was sick. Um, Sam Hauser turned his ankle, stuff like that. Everything that could seemingly go wrong went wrong. You're missing your shots, right? Al Horford's getting into foul trouble. It was rough. I still think Boston wakes up and wins this series. Um, I think they take New York incredibly seriously now. I think they have to deal with the comments and the newspaper articles and the narratives being written about them for the next couple of days. And I think they come back ready. I think they win game two big, and then they go in for games three and four in New York. And those are going to be pivotal. It's going to be pivotal. Yeah, I still think Boston got this. They just have too many answers for the Knicks. They have the ability to exploit, and this is something else that we should be looking at. How we're playing, how we're playing teams, right? That was something I noticed that Cade Cunningham did not have the ability to force switches. They would come, whoever Jalen Brunson would be guarding, that guy would come and intentionally set a screen on Cade Cunningham's man. Cade did not know how to effectively set up his man so that he can come off that screen and force a switch with Jalen Brunson. He didn't know how to do it. And so he didn't know how to take advantage of getting that mismatch. It's not just about taking Jalen Brunson off the bounce because Brunson is the weakest on-ball defender alongside of Karl Anthony Towns, but it's also making him work on defense, takes the legs out of him, so he's less effective on offense. And if you can get him into foul trouble, all the better because now he's not even on the court. Now he takes longer to get into the game, he doesn't get into rhythm, so on and so forth. These are the little things that add up over the course of a game in the playoffs. And towards the end of the game, being the difference between being up one, down one, up three, tied, up five or six, right? Versus only up one. These little things that add up. These are the wrinkles. These are the things that we have to start thinking about as Pistons fans when it comes to what type of roster that we're constructing. I did the last video this morning and I was talking about how there was so much that Jalen Duren could learn from Alperen Sengun. Like Sengun really showed you, yeah, you could be a physical force down low, but if you can't shoot, you are going to be in a position where you're going to be limited in terms of the impact that you can have. Let me see. I don't see anything about Stu's injury after the loss. Yeah, most recent. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I do think that that knee looked bad. The way he was limping on it looked real bad. All that's to say is we need to make sure that we have depth. That's why I like guys like Jabari Walker. Their physicality. Um, I like guys like Amir Coffey from the Clippers. Um, guys who play physical, tough, do the little things that sometimes your best players are not going to want to do. If I was the Detroit Pistons, especially with these young guys, and I had a coaching staff, I would invite these young guys. Uh, he said, "Get Jarris Walker on this team." That's not happening. Indiana's not letting Jarris Walker go. Guaranteed. Obi Toppin will be gone before Jarris Walker's gone. Um, but Jabari Walker from the Portland Trailblazers, we can get him. We can get him. All to say is, if I'm the coaching staff for the Detroit Pistons, I would completely get these young guys and just have watch night games. We're gonna sit around, go to the coach's home, big screen TV, um, and we're gonna break it down. Tell me what you're seeing. What do you see here? Right? What should be going on? Look at how hard they're playing. Guys are flying around. These are guys making 30 million a year, 25 million a year, right? Locked in. Guys who are all stars, all NBA, flying around. This is a level of sense of urgency, right? When you seen that OKC game, right? The double teams and the traps that were coming to limit Nikola Jokic. Bobby Portis may be gettable if he declines the player option. No, no Bobby Portis. No Bobby Portis. Appreciate the thought. No Bobby Portis. No Bobby Portis. And the reason why I say that is because one, he can't run up and down the court with this team. He doesn't run up and down the court with this team. He doesn't work for our transition game. He's very much so. He replicates a lot of what Tobias Harris does, but he doesn't give us a compliment. He doesn't give us something that adds what we don't already have. It duplicates, which means that the area of need off the bench we're still not addressing. I love the way that he rebounds. I love the way he's able to score. I don't like his defense. I don't like his ability to make the extra play, diving on loose balls, um, things of that nature. I I want more. Actually, if I'm honest with you, I want more of a facilitator, glue guy off the bench than a guy who's going to score and rebound. Because I think Bobby Clinton is going to be able to do that. I think if I'm honest with y'all, Simone Fontecchio is probably going to come in next year and shoot lights out. He's going to be in a contract year. He's probably going to be lights out shooting. And all of a sudden, we're going to fall back in love with him and be like, oh, this guy is nice. Yeah. Ethan was good, man. Tomorrow Jr., Fontecchio, Water, Sasser, and Reed are the most expendable. Can't lose Reed. They don't have another big though. Even if that's a 4 or 5 hybrid, they have Tolu Smith, who's been on the G League team. Check him out. You mean future jumbo point guard Bobby Clement? I don't know if he's that. I don't think Bobby Clement is that, but I do see him somewhere along the lines of like a Cam Johnson, a guy who can move and shoot in rhythm, off the ball, in movement. He's going to be able to knock down shots. He's also somebody who's going to do little things like he's a really effective passer, moves really well without the ball, which is really important because you have so many guys who need the ball in their hands, like a Ron Holland or a Marcus Sasser. And this is just talking about the bench unit. Being able to move off the ball opens things up because guys like Isaiah Stewart are going to find you. Marcus Sasser is going to find you. Even Ron Holland is going to find you off of their penetration. Um, 3 orange sodas. Oh, I got you. I got you. Hey, get it in, man. Get it in, man. I just put the little one down to sleep, and I just want to get on here and talk my shit really quick, because the second round set of games was really good. And when we look at what separated these teams, when we look at what separated these teams, the win from the loss, the win from the loss, man, it was the margin was this big. A decision that you make here versus there, right, makes all the difference. Tony J, what's good, my man? Appreciate the super chat. Um, Let me see here. Coach has to uh stop taking threes so he could focus inside. But Lambeer defended inside, rebounded, and shot threes. Why can't Stu do both? That is a great question. I have been a huge proponent of Isaiah Stewart shooting threes. Huge. Huge. I'm gonna be 100. I am all on the Isaiah Stewart 3-point shooting bandwagon. Matter of fact, I might be the one leading it. I might be the one at the helm. Like, yo, hey, point this thing downhill. Let's get this thing rolling. Let's get some speed behind it. I need everybody clamoring for Isaiah Stewart shooting more threes. Not just shooting more threes, I also want to see him in a double big lineup alongside Jalen Duren. Because you're going to have to go up against teams that have multiple bigs. You're going to have to go up against Cleveland Cavaliers, Milwaukee Bucks, New York Knicks when they go double big. You're going to have to go up against the Orlando Magic. You're going to have to go up against other teams, even the Miami Heat, right? They have Khalil Ware and Bam Adebayo. These teams are getting bigger. We need to see what we have in terms of going big to match them. Because the dope part about it is we also have skill. We also have skill. And if Isaiah Stewart continues to shoot threes, right? It's a great point by Tony J. If he continues to shoot threes, he brings a different ripple to this team. And imagine closing lineups. Imagine a closing lineup of Isaiah Stewart, Asar Thompson, Ron Holland, Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham. How much athleticism, shooting, defense more than anything is going to be on that floor. That is the type of closing lineup that can be absolutely devastating to teams. Absolutely devastating. That was a great, great comment. Let me see. He's not good enough playmaker though, so it hurts the team when he gets the ball too often, especially later in the clock. One of the things that I do like about Isaiah Stewart, if you go back, you see more of it last season than you have this season. Isaiah Stewart does have the ability to put the ball on the ground. He also has the ability to not create his own shot, but he does have the ability to effectively score in the post, jump hooks over both shoulders, um, driving straight line drives, even put the ball behind his back. Isaiah Stewart has a lot of skill, but more than anything, he's a defense. He is a defensive, what do they call them? Anchor. He is a defensive anchor. You can build around funneling guys to Isaiah Stewart, knowing that he's going to hold it down. Jalen Duren turned a corner second half of the season, and then in the playoffs showed that he can be a high level defender. But when we look at this team, we recognize that the more high level defenders you have on the court, the more it enhances the high level defenders you already have. Playing Isaiah Stewart and Asar Thompson next to each other only enhances one another. Right? Playing Ron Holland and Asar Thompson on the wings only enhances their capability. Now, I think one of the big differences between, let's say, a Detroit Pistons and a Boston Celtics is that when we go wing heavy, shifting them into the forward position, in other words, Asar Thompson at the four, Ron Holland at the three, Cade Cunningham at the two, Jaden Ivey at the one, right? When we have that type of a lineup, we can still rebound at a high level. Boston was not able to rebound at a high level. Jalen Duren is a defensive rebounding monster, absolute monster. I appreciate all the comments. I may not be able to get to all of them. If you leave me a super chat, I will pivot on your comment immediately because I definitely appreciate all the love. Definitely feel free to talk with each other in the comment section. Once again, my name is Ross. Rock Never Stops. It's coming to you live. It's late. Just put the kiddo down. Just wanted to talk my shit really quick after these first games of the second round. There's a lot that the Detroit Pistons can learn from this, and I hope that they're learning. I hope that they're learning. Um, yeah, even if Isaiah Stewart is just a backup center. Uh, Definitely smash the like button for me. I got 16 people in here. Appreciate y'all. When you smash the like button, it helps with the algorithm. Make sure that it pops up on people's feed whenever I go live. And the more people in here chopping it up, chatting it up, the funner it is. You know what I mean? Um, I'm curious. I'm curious. Who do people want the Detroit Pistons to go after this offseason in free agency that we see could compete at this level of the second round? Not the regular season, this level of the second round of the playoffs. That means knocking down shots, defending, versatility, getting extra possessions, speed, right? The different aspects that you see across the board when you look at OKC, when you look at Denver, who brought Julian Phillips off the bench, who's a 6'8, 6'9 wing player, 7 foot something wingspan, and fly up and down the court, weak side shot blocker, perimeter defender. He gave them amazing minutes and he knocked down a three. Right? Who do you see us getting that's going to compete with them? With them. I do think that we need to shore up that 3-4 position, which is why I like Jabari Walker. That's why I like him. I also like Amir Coffey from the Los Angeles Clippers. He was somebody that uh, I kind of targeted because I'm also, if you notice, the people that I bring up for the Detroit Pistons to potentially pursue in free agency, um, they aren't guys that are going to cost a lot. They're not. And that is one of the most important aspects to not just master as a front office exec, but it should be something that's almost at the top of your board all year long. Who are those high value players that you can bring in to support your stars who are not going to cost you a lot, who can be a star in their role that allows you to win and go deep into the playoffs? Guys like Jabari Walker, guys like Chris Dunn, guys like Amir Coffey, Nikhil Alexander Walker, or Keon Ellis. I think those guys are going to cost. Keon Ellis is going to cost. Nikhil Alexander Walker is going to cost. Those teams know how valuable they are to their winning. The uh, the analytics loves them. Um, the defense loves them, and they have just enough playmaking and facilitating ability to keep teams honest, and they knock down threes. Those guys are not unseen by their teams. Look at some of these comments. I'm not sure if Drummond is better overall at this point than Paul Reed, but my heart wants Drummond as the third big. Have you seen Tolu Smith? Please go take a look at Tolu Smith. Just look him up. Look him up. Pull it up in the search. Watch a video of his highlights from this year, from the G League. Solid 6'10", if not 6'11", 7 foot something wingspan. Can finish over both shoulders. Really good footwork. Stayed at Mississippi State for a while. He's a little bit older, but he's built like an ox. He is built like an ox. He's almost 7 feet, actually. Yep, built like an ox. This is the type of dude I wish he was ready to have played in the playoffs. I wish he was ready because he would have been amazing to bring in off the bench to physically go up against somebody like Mitchell Robinson. I would have loved to have had that behind Duran. I don't think he's as skilled as Duran, but he's not far off. He's definitely not as athletic vertically or speed running down the court, but he knows how to play, and that's big. When you look at guys like pull it up. What's his name? The Boston Celtics. When you look at guys like Luke Cornett, 7 footer, not very athletic. Yep, you already know. You already know, Joe B. Me and you, bro. We already here. We already here. When you think about those guys, man, those guys that when Porzingis is hurt, he can't play. You bring him off the bench. Smart, physical, skilled, can finish in the right place. Um, Coachable. They just fit. They're always ready to go. Consummate professional. When you call on them, they're right there for you. I think that's what Tolu Smith is going to be for us. I would rather re-sign Schroeder over Beasley or Hardaway. I wouldn't, and let me explain to you. It's not because I don't like Dennis Schroeder. Big Dennis Schroeder fan. Since he came over from Germany, drafted by the Hawks. Um, I love his game. Very cerebral, not scared of the moment. Floor general, true floor general. Um, but here's the thing. He's always thought of himself as a starting level point guard, and he kind of is. He's not an all-star level, but he can start. He did for the Lakers. He did for the Atlanta Hawks. He did for a bunch of teams. And he's great as a six man. But for Dennis Schroeder, if he's going to be a six man, he wants to play 28 to 30 minutes a game. He wants a large role as a six man. Once again, you have to foresee the progression of our core guys. What are the roles that are going to be available to whoever we bring in? And the reality is, Dennis Schroeder would not have a large role on this team next season. With Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham and Asar Thompson, those guys alone are going to be running point a significant amount of time. Then you have Marcus Sasser and Ron Holland off the bench. A significant amount of time is going to go to them. He like Davion Mitchell from Miami, but I don't think Davion Mitchell is necessarily better than, let's say, a Marcus Sasser in terms of bucket getting. Um, we gotta make sure the Pistons respects his time as a Piston. Yeah, facts. I like Davion Mitchell as a player too. I just don't think that he's better than Marcus Sasser. This is what I love about Marcus Sasser. I'm always here to binge and showing love to Marcus Sasser and these Pistons. Marcus Sasser is a bucket. And there's few guys in the NBA that I would call a bucket. like a bucket. I know that phrase gets thrown around a lot, but what that means is that you are someone who has such a high level acumen to understanding the nuance of scoring. You have such a feel for it that you have the ability to get to your shots at a high rate and you shoot it extremely efficiently. And you have so many ways in which you can contort and move your body under control. Your footwork is so fine tuned that it's almost impossible to keep you from scoring. Now, usually those guys are also, not good defenders or they can't do other things. Marcus Sasser can facilitate. He's still learning that, but he can facilitate and he can be a point of attack defender. I like his game. I'm not quick to bring in someone else to take his minutes. I'm just not. Yeah, can y'all believe that this man Dennis shot 49, 48, 81, 12 and a half points per game, 3.7 assists in the playoffs? You know who also probably saw that? The Miami Heat. You know who else probably also saw that? The Orlando Magic. You know who else? I can name you a bunch of teams who probably also saw that. The Charlotte Hornets, right? Teams that need a legitimate point guard, whether it's as a starter or primary backup, because you're not too confident either in your starter's ability to stay healthy and you need insurance, or you're not too confident in your starter as it is. Right? I think Sasser is a small shooting guard who is a bucket. He is closer to Beasley than Schroeder. Facts. I completely agree with that. Completely, but I'm not mad at that. I actually like that because we got Ivy back next season, and Pointasar Thompson is going to be on full go next season. And when you have Cade Cunningham, you're going to have that point guard facilitating role filled. What I really want to see is just Marcus Sasser come in and be a bucket. Just score and facilitate and play make out of your scoring. Because when he does that, he looks like something between Peyton Pritchard and Malik Monk, right? Your backup point guard does not need to be a high level facilitator. It's great when they are. It's great when they are. That is a luxury. That is a luxury that Dennis Schroeder gave us. And at the same time, I don't think we're going to be able to afford him bringing him back, nor can we guarantee giving Dennis Schroeder the role that he would want in coming back. Imagine paying Dennis Schroeder 16 plus million to be your backup point guard who's only getting 15 minutes a game. Imagine that. That's a big payout for such a small role. Now, I know a lot of people are high on Dennis Jenkins. I'm not. I'm not. I've watched his game. He's a little bit, tiny bit bigger than Sasser, maybe by an inch. He can score, not as well as Sasser. And I haven't seen him attempt to play point guard. I haven't seen Dennis Jenkins, excuse me, even attempt to facilitate. He just chucks the shot up. And if that was all that Sasser was doing, yeah, we wouldn't have anything to complain about. But Sasser has actually been fine tuning his game to try to facilitate more. Because with Ivy out, they needed that. They needed that. Let me see. They really run a lot of stuff through Bobby in the G League. Yes, because Bobby is an excellent passer. And Bobby has the ability to spread the floor. And so when you have a forward who can facilitate and spread the floor and move off the ball, it's actually extremely valuable. This is why I keep imagining Bobby Clinton at that power forward position eventually. I think he's going to lock himself in the weight room. What are y'all bringing a guy like Draymond? Oh, you know what? To be honest, I would. I would. I would. I would. But I wouldn't force it. I wouldn't force it. And I'm not giving up anything of value. Draymond's only getting about what 26, 27 over the next couple of years. Um, Yeah, no, I think that's what Bobby Clement already is. You think they're going to encourage him to get his volume of 3-point shots up. But I think next year is just about him acclimating himself. His body will be stronger, and he'll be able to step in and solve a lot of problems, check a lot of boxes for the Pistons. I think his facilitating ability will be huge. I like Draymond Green. But here's the thing: I don't want to give up nothing for him. I wouldn't want to give up anything for him. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I'm gonna hop off in a moment or two. If you have any last comments, um, throw it in. I'll try to get to maybe one. Unless you do a super chat, then I'm going straight to yours. Got 16 people in here. Smash the like button for me, man. It really helps out the channel. Make sure that this video pops up, and so people have a chance to catch it. I usually do videos either in the morning or in the evening after games. Probably gonna get on tomorrow after the games because it's gonna be some dope games. Even though I got some probably work tomorrow in the evening, I'm gonna try to watch the games and do a live. If I don't do it tomorrow evening, for sure it'll be Wednesday morning, for sure. Um, yeah, yeah. But don't see any last comments. Yo, appreciate everybody for joining me in this live. I try to keep it to just about an hour length. Because your boy still gotta get some rest. Tired out here, you feel me? Um, but yo, as always, it's your man 100 Grand Ross with the Rock Never Stops. If you enjoyed this live, if you enjoyed chatting it up, chopping it up, smash the like button for me, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications, and I'm gonna get at y'all next time. Peace.